For learning. Well, the president is back in town. We saw the news. He was, he was in Tanzania, I believe, as a lot of other government agencies and officials were. And it's about Mission 300 Energy Summit. It's a strategic vision that by 2030, we would have brought electricity to rural areas for 600 Africans. That's quite an ambitious figure, but then that's why they were in Tanzania, to strategize about it and find out what the ways and means were to arriving at this particular objective. It seems clear that finance is going to be a good part of it, and what we're lucky that we have with us today, Malam Abba Aliyu. Malam Abba Aliyu is the MD of Rural Electrification Agency, REA. A fine morning to you, Malam Abba.
Good morning to you too. Thank you for having me.
Indeed. Were you with the president? Were you over there in Tanzania together?
Yes. I was in Tanzania.
Okay. Okay. So welcome back home. Welcome back home. So here we are now. It's a big deal because if by first of all, we know that what we're looking to see what we can do by way of providing electricity to our people. That is, when I say our people, I mean Africans. By 2030, if we can get 600 million, is it rural homes? When you say getting, when we talk about getting electricity to 600 Africans, what are we talking about there? Is that 600 families or 600 people?
Yeah, so the target is 600 million, not just 600, but 600 million.
I'm so sorry. Yes, you're very, very right. Correct. Exactly. 600 million.
Yes. People. And it's not just the rural areas, it's total, both those that are in urban areas, peri-urban and rural areas. So it's just, in a nutshell, it's just achieving 100% electricity access. And the question also that has been discussed here in Tanzania during the meeting is what even electricity access means. Does that mean just, for example, providing illumination, or is it providing sustainable, reliable, affordable electricity? And the consensus was that providing this access, it's not just illuminating the communities, but making sure that we provide sustainable electricity, clean electricity, and electricity that is reliable and at the same time affordable. So there is much to just creating access, but what kind of access should be provided? And that is part of the entire discussion at this Mission 300 event that took place in Tanzania.
Well, it's interesting when you put it like that, because a lot of Nigerians listening to this, sustainable electricity, clean electricity, reliable electricity, affordable electricity. Now, a lot of Nigerians will probably have an input into the matter of affordable electricity. As you know, you're coming back from Tanzania. I'm sure you'd have, even before you went, you would have known what the lie of the ground is financially over there. What Tanzanians are paying on electricity. But as you know, Nigerians, they are complaining. Yeah, there's no other way to put it. They are complaining on the affordability of electricity, seeing as electricity is indispensable. So it seems like almost like whatever the price, people will have to pay for it. But from all commentary we've heard, our people would have wished that it was more affordable than it actually is. So now when I heard you talk about affordability, I said, aha, you people in governance, you are aware of this crucial matter of affordability. If it's going to be affordable, I don't know, tell me how practical that is. You know how people say, the tasty stew, a lot of ingredients went into it, and therefore that pot is going to be costing more than anyhow pot of stew. How are we going to arrive there? I understand that the World Bank and co have actually are contributing finances to this, but talk to us on that objective of providing, apart from sustainable, clean, reliable, but also affordable electricity to the people.
Yeah, so the most important fact first is that any electricity infrastructure that is to be provided must have a viable commercial framework attached to it. Otherwise, that infrastructure or that framework may not work. Reason being that for the sustainability of whatever intervention, if I come, for example, and establish a mini grid within a community to provide that community with electricity, if there is no kind of commercial framework whereby that private sector can charge tariff to sustain that infrastructure, then there's the high possibility that that infrastructure provided within that community may not sustain. So that is the first aspect that was very clear. And this has a direct relationship with the affordability. The second also aspect that is also very clear is the need for the private sector to be significant party in addressing the electricity access challenge. Government alone cannot address the electricity access. If you look at the numbers that came out from the Mission 300, we're talking about close to 40 billion US dollars to address this electricity access within the continent. So in particular, look at what Nigeria required to address that. Government cannot provide that. And that is why the multilateral and bilateral institution, the World Bank, the African Development Bank, and the private sector that are in the business of providing electricity, addressing the electricity access, all came together under the Mission 300 to commit funding to say that, okay, we are committing this to help address that. And by that means that the private sector most of their intervention is going to be a project finance intervention. And as a private sector, if I intervene and I provide electricity, I have to have a line sight of how would the tariff recover my costs and also pay for debt and equity that I injected to provide that infrastructure which will address the electricity access challenge. So all these are contextual things that we need to factor into it to define that affordability. And that is why, for example, if you look at what the federal government of Nigeria is doing under the off-grid, under the leadership of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, is providing capital grant and subsidy to help reduce the tariff cost. If you go to off-grid,
I thought subsidy was almost like a dirty word in Nigeria now.
No, so for the off-grid sector, these are the people that are not enjoying any subsidy. So they are not part of the on-grid. You are on-grid, you are enjoying subsidy that needs to be eliminated. But there are over 40 million Nigerians that are not even part of the grid. So this subsidy that the people that are on grid are enjoying, which needs to be removed for the tariff to be cost reflective, are not even benefiting in any way on this kind of intervention. And that is why the wisdom now is that for these people that are not connected, let's provide them with this distributed renewable energy infrastructure and incentivize the private sector by de-risking the sector for the private sector to go to this community and provide them with this electricity. The wisdom is that for private sector, they are driven by economic value they will get from their investment. So they may not go to these rural communities to deploy this infrastructure. So the federal government now has to devise a means to say that, okay, go to these rural communities, we as the government, we would de-risk it in such a way that even if you go, we would create some viability for you to get some economic value of your investment. And that is what the federal government is doing, working with the World Bank. It's not a new news that the federal government had crystallized the funding of $750 million, which we are using to de-risk this off-grid sector for the private sector to address the electricity access in rural areas. Already, the implementation of this had already started. The Rural Electrification Agency had already started working on deploying 40 interconnected mini grids across the country as a starting point. And already there are a number of mini grids that we crystallize very soon. In the next 2 weeks, we will start commissioning. At this moment, we have over 60 completed mini grids that we will start commissioning them. Our target is to electrify 17.5 million Nigerians, 3 million of them using the isolated mini grids, and about 1.5 million of Nigerians using the interconnected mini grids, and about 12 million using mesh grid and standalone home system, including productive use of equipment.
Indeed.